Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Welcome. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. We are live. We are now live. Yes, the chat is with me here. Thank you. This is the continuation of the console surgery stream here. This is our subject, the very injured PlayStation 3 Fat. I know, it was a sad day on the stream last Friday when I attempted to replace the laser, the whole tray and laser assembly, and I came up with an extra piece, a little blue piece lying inside of my tool bench. And I wondered, what is this for, until I reached the end of the stream trying to put this cable back together on the drive. I found out what it was for. And I foolishly assumed I had broken the cable. I know. Snapped the tip off, so where there were no contacts to even continue the rebuild here. I thought I have to order a new one online. The community reached out, and they were sending me links. Some of those links turned out to be wrong after all. But, we should get a little background music spin up here. That's a little Silent Hill 2 soundtrack, again, from that Mondo. Fabulous, the Mondo boys out there. Boys and girls, who knows? Mondo, how's that volume? If I get some ones in the chat, what do you think for background volume versus my volume? I'll be taking messages from everyone joining me live here for the continuation of the surgery. So what I found out about how this whole ribbon cable thing works is that the blue piece I found inside my workbench is just the backing, and the contacts were still, it's not like it broke off and there was like a centimeter shorter of cable. No, it was just the backing piece. So then I start looking and I see that these contacts are still in great condition. Every shining little one of them, and I counted, there's 12. So what I figured out how to do was a little hack with the super glue. So I'll show you a video I have queued up here. And like our last stream, I'll be talking everyone through the process. Let's see, I got some video. What else do I got on this? Oh, here's some pictures of my cousin. You guys don't want to see that shit. I tweeted that out the other day. Oh, there's me and Brian, the best of friends. Anyway, task at hand here. This is the process. Now, instead of buying a new ribbon cable, which I found easily enough on Amazon as well, there were like $2 to $4 bulk or single ribbon cables that maybe were a little longer, but they were the right pinout and the right serial number. That got me the furthest, tracking that serial number that's printed. So instead of buying that as a backup, I'm trying out this technique, and we'll see by the end of the stream if it worked. I recorded this footage earlier, before the podcast on Sunday. So as you can see, the blue piece goes on the back, and I guess it adds a thickness to where the ribbon cable clamp can clamp down on. While that's playing, I'm gonna, don't pay no mind to this. I didn't earn this on the last stream, so we didn't get the PS3 working, unfortunately. That's not supposed to be there, the tuna. Don't worry about that. That was for later. But here's my fix. I'm making sure that the right side is going to be facing out because there's a black line on that ribbon cable. And then I'm just going to put the tiniest little drop of super glue not even a full droplet. I'm just going to wet the tip and touch it down onto the back of the ribbon cable where the blue piece attaches. Spread it around a bit. You can see it glisten there. Coolman 23, you're right. The tuna is there for emotional support. This is a reward. If I can fix this bitch, we got 3 gen. Where is the 3 generations of PlayStation here? Yeah, we got some games to test with. Maybe we'll put this guy back together after I get this ribbon cable in. I'm gonna start unscrewing some parts here of the actual PS3 while I talk the rest of this video through. So I made sure that I aligned that ribbon cable perfectly with the tip and the sides. I used the straight edge of the table to push down against. And then the chemical reaction behind super glue is moisture. Sets it off. The hot air or cool air, I think definitely helps. But from my understanding, moisture is a catalyst in setting off super glue. So I breathe heavily, like as so. If you were to put your hand in front of your mouth, you'd feel the hot, like if you were gonna check your mouth odor. I put that hot moisture towards the glued down piece to kind of speed up and activate the super gluing process. Now, by doing that, though, I do want to note, it's possible the fumes in the air all around the ribbon cable from the super glue, they're going to settle and dry on whatever they come into contact with, including those contacts on either side. Because I also re-glued the other side while I was here, because it was starting to come up as well. So I'll showcase how I used a very, very fine grade sandpaper, and I have some stuff here. I used this to sand down the contacts, any residue that might have been on. I also scraped it off with, I have this contact cleaner here. This is some circuit board electrical cleaner. I might give it another spritz before we shoot it in. But you definitely want to make sure that the contacts are clean after using super glue, just because of any fumes that would have set on those contacts. So either a super fine sandpaper or some rubbing alcohol, little razor blade, something where you can just kind of scratch the surface. Don't put too much pressure on though. So you could see how I had to re-glue here because it didn't set. I didn't get enough on. And I feel like I almost got too much on because I got a little overzealous. And this is where I definitely got some on the contacts, so it was necessary to get the sandpaper out. When we finished the stream last week, I put the PS3 back together just so I didn't lose any parts or misplace anything. I guess I can move some of the Switch stuff off the table. So there I'm just really lightly dragging those contacts across that sandpaper. Now I got both sides back on, pressed them firmly, and that's about it. So, now that I've got the ribbon cable that I originally broke, instead of buying a new one, the plan is back to taking this guy apart and inserting it. Luckily, it's not that deep into the drive. Like, we had the entire drive apart for the laser caddy install on Friday. But now we're just going to pry open the logic board on the back of the drive. And then we're going to route this cable. Should be pretty obvious. It's going to be the only... I didn't pull up my YouTube tutorials like we had on the last stream. What was that, the console guy? Or the... It's a Canadian dude. My Canadian brother. Optimus N9. Thank you for enjoying the stream and the chat. It is like ASMR, but good. I would say so. I would say that you should listen deeply and relax at the sound of my every quivering word. We'll get through this together, brother. Oh, you and I know it. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in for console surgery. I started out the other stream by saying that I wasn't intimidated on working on my own consoles because what's the worst that could happen? You just break your own shit. And it was almost like a forewarning. I doomed myself. Okay. I think we got just about all the screws out. If you ever feel any resistance, don't be shy to get in there and look at what's going on. Because I definitely feel some resistance. But I appear to have all the screws out. Oh, maybe there's one. No, there's one here. I thought it was only attached to the drive, but it must hold the shell on as well. Yeah, that fell right back in place. Boom. I'm really glad I slept on the issue of the ribbon cable over the weekend, because I took it home and I kept looking at it, and it wasn't until I was researching spare parts on eBay and Amazon that I found out that I could just fix it. So here's the same type of cable Sony uses with that blue tip. So I'm going to be extra careful not to peel that back or anything, because it seems like the glue that they used on that adhesive is totally rigid now. So it's not going to flex at all. All right, so the shell's open. Now we got the drive here. Again, this is the 60 gigabyte PlayStation 3, the FAT, as it was called. It's a launch edition. You got that CECHA01 serial number, and this is the KES 400 drive. I'm so fond of it because of its ability to play all 3 generations of the PlayStation library. So we got our 2 ribbon cables again. Power over here, which is a lot sturdier of a footprint than the ribbon cable under here, but that's up. And I'm going to be extra careful not to bend that blue piece and find myself back in the situation. All right, so we got our drive out. That's all we want to look at right now. And we're not reopening the drive this time. We're only going to lift up the logic board and hopefully feed everything through. I think. I don't quite remember. We might have to open it to get to the laser body, actually. We'll find out together, folks. Let's keep the good times rolling. Coolman23 also agreeing with me. Yeah, sometimes stepping away from something can be the best way to and a solution to it. It applies to writing. Is that what cures writing block? Applies to writing as well, he says. That's good advice. No, that's good advice.
Yeah.
Sleep on it. That's where the term came from, right? Okay. And now, back to it. Here's where we just removed a ribbon cable. Here's where I left the gate up on the other ribbon cable. So this is where our boy goes. And I believe, yeah, it just wraps around under. So I'm going to remove the 5 screws, and I'm going to maintain how the clip is oriented here, these little shock mounts. I'm going to get a smaller screwdriver. JK Smash in the chat. Is this intense to watch because of the soundtrack that I chose to throw on that Silent Hill 2? It is a bit creepy. Towards the end of the stream on Friday, I was getting fucking shook by the Resident Evil 2 soundtrack because it's so quiet at most times, but then it would spike up and be this like overwhelming orchestral movement of, anxiety. That Resident Evil 2 soundtrack, it does that. It's almost a little too quiet and loud for me to just put on and listen to. It's got these jarring, that, and I would say I'm a little bummed out some video game soundtracks don't have extended mixes, and you get like 31-minute tracks or 30 62-second tracks. It's like, hard to just sit and listen to that. For me. I do really like this Silent Hill one, though, because you got a nice mix of the 3 and 4 minute songs. A lot of your normal 2 and 3 minute. I think the shortest ones are minute 50. I'm looking right now, minute 44, actually. Shortest song, Reprise. Oh, no, new winner. Noon Love You comes in at 1 minute 32. We'll get to side C a little later in the program. Okay. Greg's Vice in the chat saying he's got one of these backwards compatible FATs. You should troubleshoot it on YouTube, find out what's wrong, and then maybe you could cheaply fix it. I mean, if it's worth it. I think half the fun for me is doing this, is being able to tinker. Okay, so the dreaded tiny, teeny little baby wires on that connector right there. I was all cocky on the last stream and I wouldn't remove them as I didn't want to jostle anything, but now I fear I might have to so that I can fold the logic board completely over. So I think I'll do that, but I'm going to use that Joy-Con set I bought off Amazon. Came with some really nice tweezers. I mean, really nice needle nose tweezers. I shouldn't say really nice. They're your typical Harbor Freight job, but hey, they came for free and they're tiny, so all right. Tiny little movements. Oh. See, I don't want to put pressure on that fucking cable at all. The wire is such a small gauge. All right. Rethinking it. Let's continue the tradition. Let's leave that fucker down. Let me reseat it. Make sure it's pushed down all the way. Yeah, feels good. All right, I'm rethinking this. I'm going to now just flip the logic board out sideways by removing these other 3 ribbon cables. Although I will say that one was a fucking pain in the ass. And that's actually the one from our laser we just replaced. It just did not want to go in there. But now that the ribbon cable's kind of melded to that position, it might be easier. Okay. Now this power cable could put some extra pressure on the little guy. I don't want that. I also, let's go to side C of that Silent Hill soundtrack now. Okay. There's where our new rebuilt ribbon cable is going to touch down. So I'm going to just let this float here. It's being held up by the power cable. I'm going to get my guy. Looks like it laid in this way. And this is the new side I glued down. Right before I do this, though, I'll give a little example of hitting it with this ECC cleaner. And you saw how I sanded it, but you can even take, you know, the edge of your jeans, something that's going to be just a little porous. This is a ZEP product, a Super ECC contact circuit board cleaner. Just in case any of that residue from the super glue fumes is on there. I'm almost out. Little baby bit, that's all we need. I don't want to unglue these again by soaking it, you know. And you can see if the contacts are clean now, where I could definitely see some residue before. I don't now. All right. We're gonna lay in one side. Push the lock down. Now I'm going to lay this back over. Make sure, get that cable under there. Okay, now I have all 5 cables to put back on our logic board here. And there's little mounts, or actually this metal bit. This has to go on top, so I need to slide that under there. All right. Before I put the screws back in, I'm just going to make sure that this is the ribbon cable that I did the surgery on here. I'm going to make sure everything still goes in. This is where, when I clamped it on the last stream, it would just fall right out. And I can already see, I could get a close-up of this. I can already see here where the glue is coming undone. But I think it's a temporary fix, because I'm never going to remove that. Once that ribbon cable is in there and clamped down, I think it's okay, but it has come unglued again, but it's clamped down enough to where, as long as it's making contact, I think I'm good. Here's hoping. Yeah. How do you turn on autofocus? There we go. Jeez. Okay. So it seems to only have come unglued at the back. It's still glued up in the front. You know, less is more. I'm not going to fuck with it any longer. The next step, if I really broke something, I think it would ease my pain to just buy the $80 full replacement drive. Although, yeah, then I just need this logic board. And I wonder if it comes with all new cabling. But I think we're going to get it licked. I think last Friday, putting the new drive laser and caddy in, and then fixing our mistake with the ribbon cable. I think we're going to be playing something here at the end of the stream. Or no tuna for your boy. What does that mean? I hate to ask. Okay, insert that ribbon cable. Actually, that was a lot easier. I must have been remembering another one that was a pain in the ass. These three seem pretty straightforward. I was like, something feels different, but I think I was wearing gloves on Friday doing this. This is a lot more tactile, but you can see all the dirt under my fingernails, so I'm going to have to apologize for that one. All right. That's all our cables for the drive part. Let's throw our screws back on. And I did end up with an extra screw last time, which I'm not too concerned about because, all right, you're missing one screw. I don't know. Everything seemed to be held down and held together, so. There was a good comment on Twitter that while I'm at it, I should paste the cooling paste on the CPU. And I have that little tube, that Arctic Silver, or whatever you call it, Arctic Chill, Gigablast, Chill Blast, laying around somewhere. But I searched all over for it. I couldn't find it. It's like such a tiny little toothpaste tube, and I used it for like one repair, probably on a Mac. I think it was a MacBook repair. And it's like, yeah, I'll save this. I'll remember where it is. One day, though, I'll reopen her. And it doesn't ever have a problem overheating, where it's like shut down on me from it. I know that the PS3s are pretty notorious for that. Seems to be a thing of the past with the current console generation. I don't hear about Xbox Ones and oh, I forgot, these are the tabbed ones. I gotta replace these screws with the tabbed ones. But I don't hear about the Xboxes or PS4s overheating. God, the generation prior was just fucking, it was like common. You just knew. Okay. So still just one extra black screw here. It must have been on the inside. I can't remember what. It's going to bug me, so I'll probably watch the stream back one day and pinpoint that. It looks like it would go there, but there's no hole. Okay, everything looks pretty good to me. Nothing's over-tightened. Our felt is clean. Ready to put this back in. Here's our extra screw. Just going to hold on to that. And let's get our body back over here. And first, let's connect our ribbon cable. So she's going to drop in, nope, like this. Right, okay. This seems a bit easier than the last time. Maybe because it's the second time I've done it in a week. I think on the stream I was trying to get out of here because it was past 5 o'clock on Friday. And I remember struggling with just trying to box that ribbon cable back in. Okay, ribbon cable is in, power cable's in. I'm gonna set this down on its little piece. You can line up the holes where you know the screws are coming in. And make sure you push that power cable in hard. That power cable goes down quite significantly. It pushes into the connector. And then you can clip your wire back under the catch right there. There's a little piece of plastic that sticks out for that. Here's our last connection, our last ribbon cable to the outer shell. Not the finished side, but let's just put the side before it on, and then let's sandwich it together. Let's hold off on screws because we'll take it over to the TV and we'll test. You can kind of see my reflection here as I speak. So it's almost like holding a mirror up in front of the overhead cable. This would be a good tactic if I just had a mirror here, but we're halfway there. Okay. One ribbon cable down. It's 3:30. Our bud says it's 3:36. Time's looking good. This seemed to have moved on me, but it's definitely got like a little clip where it sits in. This is the disc. No, that's the memory bay. Oh, look at that dust. All right. The little black line on the blue part of the ribbon cables seems to be an indicator for where the cable seats, where it lands into the socket. It goes right to the black line. That seems to be its purpose. All right, let me clamp this in the front first. Yes, looking good. Everything's clipped in. Sits down nicely. All right, I think let's not get. No. We gotta. We're not done. Don't worry, but let's not get over our minor achievement of repairing some of the things. So yeah, let's give ourselves a little round of applause. The system should be repaired and back together. I'm gonna switch it over to the TV here. Switch the input off the Apple TV too. Now, I'll just stand it up in the center here. Pull out an HDMI and a power cable for you. That's all you need. This way, I don't have it screwed together. If it's a simple fix, maybe we could pop it back open real quick, and then if it is working, I can kind of just leave it standing right here. Throw those 6 screws back in. All right. Flip the. I like that these consoles had the actual power switch to shut the power supply off in the back. So the power supply is switched on. The console, let me see if I got no signal. That should be good now because the console's off. I'm going to hit that button. We got green light. Oh, TV on would help. The TV on would definitely help. Oh, okay. That's a good sign. Now, even missing this cable we tested last week, and we saw that we had the ability to play games on the hard drive. We just didn't have any access to the disk drive. I'm going to hit eject just to see what the system does. Nothing. Blue light blinked a couple times. Should we start with a PS1, 2, or 3 game? I mean, it's PS3. It's meant to play PS3 games. It used to play PS3 games before I started console surgery. Let's see if Lollipop Chainsaw loads. Oh, bad sign, bros. I'm putting the disc in, but I don't feel it sucking. doesn't suck me in. What's up with that? Did I fuck with the armature? Did I move something in the wrong way? So it seems like the same problem we had when we tested, and I'm glad we tested at the end of Friday's stream, because maybe even though I've tried to repair my ribbon cable myself, I got super glue on the contacts. Maybe I have, I don't know, maybe I've shorted two together in my attempts at cleaning. I had to admit, I am inventing this as I have gone along. So I think now, let's see, if I can get a hard reset maybe, because I've got no, other than the LED, the blue LED in the front is coming on when I'm hitting eject, so it knows I'm trying to eject. But no motor movement, nothing I can hear or feel. Let me power off all the way, too. Was it if you hold the power button at the top for like 10 seconds, you do like a full, it'll beep at me in a sec. Beep, beep, beep. Yeah. Or it just switches off. Guys. Shit, it's just not my week. This system might be in need of more attention. Definitely more attention, but maybe some more parts. We're restarting now. Let's see, another restart. How does that feel? Again, this is side C of that Mondo Silent Hill 2 record release. I'll get B ready for the change up. Let's see again. So interesting. The cable we replaced, I didn't think controlled the actual CD motor. CD-ROM. Well, let's open, while we still got time, let's open her back up. And let's see if we just left something unplugged. That's all I can think of. Until then, I may be in the market for another drive or another replacement. It's not possible. It is possible. No, it wouldn't be the laser that we got new. It's something else I did, because it's not accepting the discs like it did before. That was never the issue. So I can't get it twisted. Okay, and that's the end of side C. On to the next one. I'm going to shut her down all the way. Toaster boy. What do you think? Could be a power supply issue? I don't know. I don't think that's exhibiting signs of a power supply issue. I mean, I think power's up just fine, and we play games on the hard drive. It's definitely something that I've changed since opening this up for the CD laser. And what I'm thinking is, it's something that I left unplugged, something that I forgot. I mean, we are looking at an extra screw as well, so I'm definitely not putting it past myself. Did I not start this beast? Oh, I did, but I didn't pot it up. Okay. So, taking that cable out again, making sure all my other additional cables are seated correctly. There's a small ribbon cable up front here. That goes to the eject and the power button and down to the main circuit board here, but that's all working correctly because those are lighting the LEDs and powering up and down the console. We're just not getting the sensor. I think it's an optical sensor that sees your disc as it's inserted and then starts the motors to pull it into the disk drive. Okay, taking the ribbon cable off underneath. I'm going to unhook the power from the logic board this time, and I'm going to leave the dangling dongle on the main board. Okay, I wasn't fucking with any of that, and it all still looks good. Ah, looks like there's a little piece of schmutz here. Got some schmutz on my ribbon cable. Everything seems seated correctly. I'm going to set this aside again. All right. These seem to be seated correctly. So does the new laser. I would have my worries about our piss poor glue job here. Actually, this seems to just be a little piece of film. But it is, you can see it is coming apart. But it's the thickness, I think, that the clamp needs to hold down. So as long as we got that in, we're safe. And I don't want to fuck with that or remove that again because it's not holding very well. But I don't think I have to. Because all of these are seated. Let's open up the inside. Let's find out why we're missing that cable maybe as well. Or why we have an extra screw as well. I said this on the other stream, but having a magnet to magnetize or to just keep your tiny screws all together, magnetize your screwdriver is a great idea. Some trick I saw. So putting the magnet next to the screw tray keeps them all there in case I knock this fucking thing with my knee like I'm tended to do. And being able to magnetize the screwdriver, so it makes putting these little screws back in way easier. Way easier. Okay, that shell reaches around. Does it latch back on here? No, it's separate. I think. Oh no, gotta take these off. Okay. Pull that off. Let's see, make sure our little wires aren't damaged. This is what, ooh, see, maybe we damaged, because here's the sensor. This is the optical sensor, so that when you insert a disc, the drive sees that you're inserting a disc. That's this little circuit board, and on the other side, there's a small optical chip, I bet. Or a small little optical eye, a little diode or something. So I'm just looking. The power cable, it's a signal cable. This tiny little red and black one here. It doesn't look damaged. I'm gonna pull the tape that we pulled before. It looks like it's seated all the way in. doesn't look damaged along the cable run at all. We didn't exactly put it through the gentle cycle last stream. I mean, I had this thing open and clamshelled all over. But it does almost look like it's crooked where it lands here. So that piece of plastic just lifts up. I'm going to take that off and I'm going to take a look. And while I'm here too, maybe I see where the missing screw went. Oh, right there. Sure as shit. All right. I bet you there's a replacement for just this piece too. This piece of plastic, oh, it's glued down. I can just remove it. Okay. I want to be real delicate. So yeah, there's a little photo sensor. That little golden piece. And this does look a bit crooked, but it looks like it was seated. So it's not obvious that this is the problem, but maybe. So just making sure I push that back down in there. Really doesn't appear to have any damage along the cable, so that might be the next stream, is me researching and purchasing a new disk drive optical sensor. Okay, how is this laid down? Like that kind of? Sure. Just a little piece of clear plastic with adhesive on it that holds that down, I guess. Okay, and while we're here, let's rip her open, take a look at her again. I'm gonna be fucking super delicate with the little guy. God, it does. Is that a pinch? Could I even tell? The more I fuck with the cable, the worse off it is anyway, so. No, that's not. That's nothing. That's nothing. Walk it off. Let's pull our one extra black screw. We're going to put all these screws in our lid here. I also worry that inserting the disc over the last couple times has changed the orientation of the mechanism in here. And I know that it would make it hard to once you get it back together, it makes it a little hard to get everything lined up right if you move anything. But everything seemed to fit back together nicely, so I don't think I did that. I'm going to pop this out now. Fold it right over. Okay. Our ribbon cable there is seated, and the one that we did on our new laser is seated. Everything looks good here to me. Like I said, I don't want to move any of this shit, but nothing's bound. Everything's fucking spring-loaded, too. The sensor seems to have a clear view of what's going on, too. Oh, that piece of plastic is for this little sliding tray. All right. I'm now like 99% sure, though, if what we have stays broken, that this is the part to replace next. So I might have to do that by buying the whole drive, or maybe I can find this individual part on its own. We'll see. Okay, that fits back in there. Wow. What a tiny, tiny little gauge wire. I hate that. I could do some redneck bypass shit if I know at least half an inch past the connector's good and the brake maybe here. I could get just some big ol', I mean the smallest gauge I could find in my garage. Try to repair this one like I did with the homemade hot glue or super glue recipe. Maybe I just run a bigger gauge cable and connect, separate, solder in a jumper. I'm sure I could find something tiny, some tiny wiring laying around. Just offset the two solders so they're not a butt connector here and a butt connector here so they can short. You offset this one. How would I represent that? Boom. Yeah, offset them like that. So the solder joint's here, and then an inch down the line, solder joint's here. And then if the wire touches together, you don't get a short. Just tape it up. Right on top. There's plenty of room. There's nothing on... Well, you got this tray. I'd make it work. That might be... That might be stream 3.33. I was a little late getting the stream started today, so my condolences and apologies to the audience. It was worth it, though. It was a productive meeting of many events being planned. Good things on the horizon over at Mega 64, y'all. Positive things, y'all. Okay. Well, I've done my damage. I wonder if this is necessary. Can we leave this guy off? I don't see why not. For our continued testing. He's all boxed up. I could just loosely throw the shock mounts back on. Let's see. At least the 3 shock mounts. Just because I don't want anything to short circuit if it touches. I don't know, that sensor cable was just kind of kinked out. Maybe we could fucking push on it too. That's another fun thing whilst troubleshooting is maybe we could give it a little push. We could get a little probe in there and poke around and see if we can get it to start pulling a disc in. The sky's the limit at this point. What do we got to lose? Okay, here's the beast. Got the spring loader things on the front. I'm not putting them on the back. 1. We're only doing 2. That's okay. Well, these contacts are certainly getting cleaned, going in and out and in and out. Over and over. There we go. Seat you, mother. Beautiful. Okay. Plug our power in on the side here. It pushes in quite a little distance too. Oops, didn't mean to drop it straight down, but hey, here we are. Okay. This fucker's a go. I don't know if we need to put the lid on even, because that ribbon cable just goes to our memory readers, all of our Pro Duo SD and compact flash capability here. let's try it without it. Let's see what happens. Coming up on the end of side B for Mondo's Silent Hill 2 soundtrack. We got one side left. We haven't hit C. Oh no, we haven't hit D, excuse me. I should probably cue it. The great thing about these long-form video game soundtracks, though, is that the streamability of it, being that it's from a video game, you don't get docked. You don't get taken down a peg. Ow. Okay. System's on. Trying to make some room here. Easier in the vertical. Power to the TV's on. Must have left the power supply switch in the back on already. Oh, you know what? How do I... Oh, maybe this... Oh, that's true too. I believe the touch sensors for eject and open, that's what it is. It's also the memory, but it's the touch sensors for the open and eject button, so I should probably hook that up while I'm sitting here. Let's not fry something. Or let's. It'll be an entertaining stream. Oh, pull that tape up. Looks good to me. Let me see. Yeah, I'd call it. All right, I'm gonna hit power. Nada. Hold on, let me make sure the power supply is on. Oh, now it went off. Oh, you know what? It's probably not even necessary. It's like it has something to do with a touch contact right here. All right, well, we do have to lower the lid then to make that touch contact. So while I do that, I'm going to flip. There it goes, power on. And now we hit side D. Okay. Good signal. We haven't totally fried the thing. Eject button again. Blue light comes on. I could probably Google the actual troubleshooting key terms here, like won't take disk, eject blue light, and I'll see more about that sensor that we found at the top there. Let me try again though. Yeah, she don't want to take it. Take the disk, please. So it seems that our search continues here. We haven't yet licked the issue. In fact, we've further advanced the issue. But hopefully solved our DVD-ROM reading issue with the new laser, and this is just a complication to the surgery, if you will. Well, I think I've given it all I can. I don't want to call it dead on the table, but I might need a second opinion from another registered and approved technician. I certainly need to do a little more research. I want to see what that sensor is all about. See, maybe like I talked about, bypassing those wires by creating a path, just jumpering the connection. Maybe that part's accessible too. You'd be surprised. Just putting in key terms for replacement parts. There's just a lot of stuff just on Prime delivery. But thank you again for watching the fabulous Mega 64 podcast Twitch channel. This will be archived along with the previous one on our YouTube channel. That's Mega 64 Archives on YouTube. Be sure to tune in every Wednesday to the PPS. Brian and I, we're going to be trying to resurrect this thing once we have it there. We got a lot of PS2 games to play. I still got to get old school Outbreak going. Even with the AI, this game's fantastic. So, yes. I was hoping you've got an announcement. You want me to say it? I'll say it. I was dancing around it, but we have officially now, I can say this, released our rescheduled Mega 64 Day. So that is going to be this Thursday. We canceled last Thursday, so this Thursday you can tune in. Tune in.
I've deemed it so. I see.
Yeah.